Hello folks, this is Attorney Carlos Garcia from Garcia Law Firm in Tijuana, and today I'm gonna try to respond all the most frequent questions my clients are doing when they are renting a house in Mexico. First thing we need to know is that landlords are gonna require from us two payments at the beginning. One is gonna be the first payment of the rent, and the second is going to be the deposit, something that is called deposit. Another thing they're going to request from us is going to be a guarantor, which is going to be a person who's going to respond just in the case we do not pay the rent as compromised. If we don't have this guarantor, landlords usually are going to request from us a second deposit. Then we're gonna have that we're gonna do three payments at the first payment, or as a first payment, which is gonna be the first month of rent, the first deposit, and a second deposit for because we don't have a guarantor. Usually, this guarantor or the landlords are gonna say that the deposit is gonna go back to us at the end of the period that we are gonna rent. That is not always the case, and the reason why is because usually the landlord is gonna say that he's gonna use this money to do some repairs to the place, to the house, because we destroyed something, or well, you name it. So we need to keep in mind that it's massively difficult to recover these two deposits. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then another thing I need to point is that sometimes when we arrive to a place, we're gonna be looking around, and then we're gonna notice that, just to say an example, the roof has a failure, and we need to point this out to the owner, to the landlord, and say, hey, there's a failure. And we need to request the landlord to make all the proper repairs that we are pointing out. Why? Because usually landlords say, okay, it's okay, I'm gonna fix it, just give me some time, some days, and I'm gonna send some people, and I'm gonna fix this this damage or this issue. And it happens to be that months go by and the problem is still there. So my recommendation is, before doing anything, before renting, the landlord has to fix all the issues that he's finding at home. So yeah. Another thing I would like to mention is that if you're gonna pay $400 or more in rent, and you have find several issues around the house that you're gonna rent, step away and do not rent the house unless you're certain that the landlord is gonna fix all the issues you have found. So yeah. If you're gonna pay $400, $500 of rent, and the house is not in good conditions, try the next one. That's my best advice for you. Another thing we have frequently is that, let's just say you are gonna rent an apartment, and it's this beautiful apartment, and it's a very good location, etc. And the landlord says it's gonna be $600 of rent. Okay, good, no problem. And then he's gonna say, but you need to pay maintenance fee, which is gonna be, let's just say, $50 per month. And you're gonna say, hey, why? You said $400 and then I'm paying $50. And he's gonna say, hey, that's not for me. This money is gonna be for the building administration. And the reason why is because the building administration is going to make sure that the building is in very good conditions, it's clean, and all the garbage is being taken care, and we have security cameras and security guard and whatever you mentioned. So this money, these $50 are going to be used for that, and that's a separate. This is true, and sometimes it's a little bit more expensive, but it's never so expensive. So keep this in mind, and if you're gonna be facing the situation that sometimes there are gonna be some abusive fees, like I have found that some people pay like $500 or even more, think twice before renting. So yeah, try not to catch any abusive people, sorry. Another thing we need to keep in mind is when we are signing a contract, after we made sure that everything is okay and we are okay with the rent amount and the fees and everything that we're gonna pay, we need to make sure that at the moment we are signing the contract, we are facing, or we are having in front, on the other side, to the real owner of the house. And how do we know this? Because we can request for all the documents, a simple copy for the documents of the house. And these documents, they are going to show who's the owner of the house we're renting. So you just need to make sure that both names are okay. And if we are facing this other person, which is saying he's a legal representative of the owner, he has to have a power of attorney, which is authorized in front of a notary, which is gonna say that the owner of the house is giving this power of attorney to the guy we are facing. After we sign, we need to have a copy of this contract. And since we are gonna pay this amount, which is first month of payment, one deposit, and probably another deposit, we need to have a receipt of payment, which is gonna say precisely that we are paying those three amounts. And yeah, we need to have this and this receipt of payment and our contract with us. Now, what happens if we do not get any receipt of payment? We need to request that immediately, and if we see that we are not getting anything, then we're in trouble. Why? Because you have the right, and is obligated, the landlord is obligated to give you this receipt of payments. And usually landlords are going to give you this receipt of payment. Make sure that these receipts are mentioning that you're paying those three fees, and month after month, as you pay the rent, they must provide you with a receipt of payment. Usually you're gonna pay the rent in cash, or maybe you're gonna make a deposit at some banks, and maybe you're gonna do this transfer. Either way, either case, you need to get a receipt of payment saying that you're paying, let's just say, this is the receipt of payment for the rent of the month of March 2020, and so on, March, May, June. You're gonna have all these receipt of payment. Now, another question they are asking me: attorney, I rented this apartment and I did the contract myself, but suddenly I'm gonna have 2 more roommates. Can these 2 roommates stay with me at this same apartment? And the answer is yes. Do I need to fix a new contract? No. And what if I'm gonna get married? Do I need to create a new contract? No. Since the contract is gonna expire at some given time, then you have the legal possession of the house or apartment that you're renting. So since you have this legal possession, you are good to go. It's like if you were the owner. Another question they are doing: can I make some improvements? And the answer is yes, but you need to request this permission from the owner, sorry. And the owner has to give his go ahead. What happens if the owner says, okay, you can do these improvements, but I'm not gonna take this improvement as a payment of rent? Then it's gonna be up to you to decide if you're gonna go ahead and do these improvements at your cost, or the landlord is gonna be able to negotiate with you again and make an arrangement. If the landlord says, no, I don't want you to do these improvements, you are not going to be able to do it, and you can be facing problems. I have found some clients that they say, hey, you know, I rented this space and I created this room, and it's a beautiful room, and it has a sauna, and it has a beautiful shower, blah, blah. I want the landlord to take these improvements as a monthly payment. No, you cannot do that. If the landlord is not authorizing you and you're doing it because you want to do it, then my friend, you will have to assume all these losses. So yeah, be careful when you are doing something like this. Now, another question I have in my mind right now is, some people, they have asked me, hey, attorney, I have this house and this great location. Can I create or transform some part of the house in a business? And the answer is no. And the reason why is because you have the possession, and yes, maybe you're renting for 1, 2, 3 years, but it is a house. It is a house basically, and it has to be used as a house, as your home, not as a business. And given the fact that the contract you have, it's only for this purpose, you need to have authorization, number one, from the owner, and second, you need to have authorization from the city hall in order to do all these changes. And also, you will have to create a new contract and everything, because now it is a business, it's not a house. So yeah. Another question is coming to my mind is, yeah, some clients have asked me, attorney, can the owner come to me suddenly and say, you know what, I need the apartment before my contract expires? Good question. And the answer is yes, he can come to your house and let you know, hey, you know what, I'm gonna sell the house, so I need you to get ready and basically be out of the house in 1 month. This is a valid petition, but again, the landlord has to come and he has to give you some time frame, some time to get prepared and find a new place, so you can go to this new place, and it has to be in an agreement between you, and he cannot just come and tell you, hey, I need you to move because I decided to sell the house. So yeah, if you're facing this situation, he needs to give you enough time, and the minimum is 30 days, but he has to give you some time to move to a new location, a new house. So yeah, he cannot come just suddenly and tell you, hey, I need you to leave. No. Now, what happens if you cannot pay the rent? That's another frequent question. And what you need to do if you're facing this situation is to get in touch with your landlord and try to fix an arrangement. That's the proper way to do, and the safest situation you can, or not the safest situation, sorry, that's the best thing you can do. And the landlord is not obligated to accept, he can, but you can negotiate. And now, what happens if you do not pay the rent? That's a whole different story. According to law, and this is in Baja California, this is only in Baja California, because I don't know the whole different legislation in all different states. But in Baja California, for example, and many landlords are gonna hate me for this, but it's true, and it's in the law. The landlord cannot do anything legally speaking unless you have 2 months without paying the rent. Yes, 2 months. And it doesn't mean that in 2 months he can just arrive, take down the door and get you out. It doesn't work that way. After 2 months, the landlord is able to go to the courthouse to start this process to evict you. And if he do that, the judge is gonna send the clerk to your house to let you know that you have 20 days to take your things, pack all your things and leave the house. Otherwise, he's gonna come back and he's gonna evict you. But that's the proper way, and that's all the legal procedure that he can do, the landlord can do, if he's facing this situation. Something I'm skipping, the deposit. As I said, the deposit, if at the end of the contract you cannot get it back, usually. And it's not that it is not like against the law, but it's also not the proper way to go. Usually, if you're paying 2 months of deposit, usually the landlord, they always return one deposit, and the second deposit is going to be used to fix all the broken pieces or do some arrangement to the house. I don't know, but yeah, in general, this is basically all these frequent questions. I don't know if you have another questions, please let me know. And I created another video about buying a house in Mexico. If you can, if you wanna take a look, I'm gonna leave it in the description below. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And yeah, I think if you think this can help somebody, please share. And well, that will be it for today. It's really hot here. Yeah, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.